Už velmi brzy nás čeká Bond in Motion, což je výstava, která je jedinečná svého druhu. Poprvé v České republice jsou to všechny auta a nejen auta ze všech Bondovek, které jste kdy mohli vidět, což je neuvěřitelný. Bylo to v Bruselu, v Londýně, pak znovu v Londýně, pak v LA a teď to bude v Praze a už velmi brzy se na to v křižíkových pavilonech na výstavišti v Praze můžete těšit. No a já mám tady dneska hosta mýho, kterým je Nickem Borensteinem. Je to organizátor téhle výstavy a ten nám k tomu poví víc. Bond in Motion, that's a special expo that's coming to Prague. Actually, it was in London, then it went to LA, then back to London, to Britain, and then to Brussels, and now it's in Prague.
Something like that.
Something like that.
It's traveling quite a lot, yeah.
On the world. Bond in Motion, it's like the expo of the cars, and not just the cars from the Bond movies. You're Nicolas Borenstein, welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
To our podcast.
Thank you.
Actually, you're the organizer of the thing, so you have a lot to say about it.
I have partners, but I'm the organizer in charge, let's say, the managing director.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. It's not only cars. We say the vehicles.
Yeah.
Because there are motorbikes, planes, crazy stuff.
Helicopters.
You name it. U-boats, Q-boats, whatever. So it's basically everything that is in motion, that moves, that was seen in the 25 Bond movies.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's amazing.
I mean, maybe the cars are like the biggest topic for the guys because like they love the cars. But I think that it's really nice that there are also motorcycles for the motorcycle guys and other vehicles. That's awesome. How many of them are there actually?
Altogether, if I'm not mistaken, we have over 85 pieces of everything. And it's growing. So you're going to ask me, why is it growing? It depends of the size of the venue. But here in Prague, we are almost at maximum capacity with over 85 pieces of amazing engineering and machinery.
So that means that you have more.
We have more. Because in Brussels the venue was much bigger, so obviously we could fit a little bit more in it. There are some museums around the world that have pieces, moving about.
Yeah.
Yes, there are more. There are not many more, but there are more. But I must say that we have all the most beautiful and interesting pieces here in Prague.
Yeah.
I think it's really going to be something special, something beautiful.
Give us your top 5 maybe of the top vehicles that you really like.
Okay, so I'm going to sound very corny and mainstream, but of course there's a legendary DB5, which is amazing to see in real because it's the James Bond car.
Yeah.
Then there are 2 cars which I really love that were especially made for one movie, Spectre. It's the DB10, which doesn't exist. They only made 10 for the movie.
Yeah.
And then a Jaguar, which I'm not mistaken, they've called it the CX-8 or CX-7.
Yes.
It's a Jaguar that was also only made for that movie. They made 8 pieces and that's it. So these 3 when it comes to cars are really my favorite. Then the Ice Dragster, that's not a car, obviously, kind of a car, and then one of the motorbikes, which is a Triumph, but you have to come and see.
Yeah, and also it's crazy that in James Bond movies there were not only Triumphs like motorcycles, but the cars. A lot of people, they like the Triumphs because of their cars and not the motorcycles, which is crazy.
Of course, I mean we are all. Even like I don't know, since little kids, I mean cars are something, like it's exciting for most people, you know.
Yeah.
It has an engine, it makes noise, it's beautiful, I was always a James Bond fan. If you want to hear a little bit how all this came about.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I was a huge James Bond fan and I was in Brussels for a trip. And I was invited to a birthday party, which was held at the exhibit in Brussels.
Wow.
And since I love James Bond, I said, what? A birthday of a guy that I know in a place where there are James Bond things? I will go. And at some point, I got cold feet. I said, I don't want to go so much. I'd been working a lot the day before and that whole day, and I was like really tired. And I said, I'm not sure I want to go. And my wife said, come on, you love James Bond, make an effort. We are with the kids. And I went, and I was like, oh my God, what is this? You know, because you hear James Bond exhibit, okay, you're excited, but you say, okay, it's gonna be cars, you know. But I was literally flabbergasted, and I was fortunate enough to be introduced to the organizer in Brussels. He asked me where I was from. I said, I live in Prague. He said, Prague, it's our dream to go there. And 1 year later, after a lot of talk, a lot of visits, a lot of organization, we partner up, and we're doing it in Prague, and I hope in many more cities in the time to come. But it's really something impressive.
Yeah, that's so cool. So you are the Prague connection, basically.
We are the Prague connection. We have now partnered with them to make quite a few exhibits. We are going to Vienna after next September, and probably after that to Germany, Amsterdam. So I hope we're going to do many of them. But it's starting here in Prague.
Great. You know, since we were talking about the Jaguars and also the Aston Martin, the DB5, actually, when I was doing a little research about which cars appeared in all the Bond movies, actually, I saw that in the year 2002, in Die Another Day, it was like a debut of a Jaguar in the movie, which is crazy. If I'm not mistaken,
yes.
You know, Jaguar wasn't for a long time in James Bond movies. And
Yeah.
I was thinking about it because Land Rover was there. Of course, the Aston Martin was the first, right? It's like the
Aston Martin was there.
But anyway, I was like thinking like, it's a British movie. There are a lot of British brands, but not a lot, so you couldn't take them all in, right? And still, the Aston Martin was the first, then Land Rover, and Jaguar was like the last guy joining the party.
So I was told a story about this because obviously we've been preparing this exhibit for 1 year now. So I met a lot of people. I traveled to London a few times, and I was told, so you know how we say, you are told, you don't know for sure, but I was told by people who know a lot about the James Bond saga that Jaguar was very frustrated for very many years. I don't know if I can say that. And pushed a lot to be in James Bond movies and ended up being there. And now they are like kind of almost always present because Land Rover belongs to the Jaguar group.
Exactly.
So it's Jaguar Land Rover.
Yeah.
But what you're saying, it's true. That's the first appearance of a Jaguar.
Yeah, even the new models and stuff. You know, I saw that like a new model of Jaguar, you know, debuted in a James Bond movie.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Actually, Aston Martin DBS from Casino Royale.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, this car was in the Casino Royale. Actually, it was shot in Czech Republic.
It was shot in Czech Republic.
Yeah. Is there any like artifacts that are there on the exhibit that was in Casino Royale?
So, as I told you, it's everything has to be related with the motion. So when you say artifacts, there are a few. I'm not supposed to talk about it.
Yeah, but there are a few like gadgets, right?
Yes, but they are when we talk to motion, you will see most of the motion-related vehicles of Casino Royale at the venue, but you have to come and discover for yourself.
Definitely. Well, and also a little geek question, but is it gonna be divided like the movie-wise or time-wise? You know what I mean? Like, is it like...
I absolutely know what you mean, and my answer will puzzle you because it's divided into something, but not time-wise and not movie-wise.
Okay.
It's divided into zones. Air, earth, water, and fire.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the elements, basically.
The elements.
Wow, that's a creative approach. And what is your favorite James Bond movie and the motion vehicle in it?
So, My favorite James Bond movie is The Spy Who Loved Me. And it's quite funny because completely coincidentally, my favorite Bond vehicle is also in that movie, which is the White Lotus, which goes underwater.
Yeah, yeah.
And you will be able to see that too.
Wow, wow. There's gonna be the Jaguar with the rockets as well, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
what is the craziest vehicle that you have there from your own perspective? Or like the most extraordinary
for me, the craziest is not a car, is the ice dragster.
Is the ice dragster that you were talking
It's
about?
crazy to see it in real because it's huge. It's, if I'm not mistaken, because there are so many things, it's 17 meters long, and it's really impressive.
You know, I'm wondering, when you were moving all these cars and vehicles and helicopters and everything across Europe, and not just across Europe, but actually across the Atlantic to LA, the insurance must be totally crazy, and also the security and stuff.
You want me to cry?
Yes, yeah.
It's insane. It's insane because, as you can imagine, all those vehicles are worth millions.
Yeah.
Literally millions.
Because it's a collector issue, right?
First of all, some of them who were made as a production car, well, these ones are from the movie, so they are worth millions. But as I told you, there's one Aston Martin and one Jaguar that don't exist, that were made only for the movie.
Only for the movie, yeah.
So these are priceless.
Yeah, yeah.
So insurance companies are quite puzzled because they're like, okay, how much is that worth? You know, how much? So not only the insurance is crazy, but the care we have to apply when moving these around, as you can imagine, is insane, because it's special trucks. For these special cars, they have to be moved quite a lot. Then they have to be assembled for the exhibit, disassembled.
Yeah, yeah. And also I was thinking about the issue of the ownership, you know, like if these cars have some specific owner, or the studio that shot Bond movies, if they own it, you know, like how do you deal with this? I mean, if there's an owner and he has the car in his living room, he said, I don't want to give you the car for the expo. Or is it really like this, or is it totally different?
It's funny you should say that, because luckily most of the car belong to Eon, which is the production company who owns all the licenses and all the assets from the Bond movies. But Eon started, don't ask me why, I don't even know why, and I know them well, but it's not the kind of question you should ask them. But Eon didn't start collecting all the cars and the vehicles from the very first Bond movies. Sometimes cars and stuff were left on sets in Mexico, in Asia, wherever they were filming, and some people bought them. And there is actually a company in the United States called the Jan Fleming Foundation, who are 3-4 guys who loved Bond movies and things, who went all over the world to start buying these. But Eon and them are very good friends. They get along extremely well. But luckily, Eon has most of the cars. And it's true that 2 or 3 cars that we have here in the expo belong to private people. But they are in touch with Eon. They have very good relations with Eon. And so we pay them a fee to be able to use the cars. Of course, the cars are insured. Yeah. We take good care of them. It goes back and forth. Yeah. And it's all a big happy family.
Yeah, this is fine. This is fine that it's all working together, because I was just wondering, you know, I mean, so many vehicles and there might be so many owners, and I didn't deep dive into this topic of the ownership, but it's good that we know.
Luckily, not too many owners, but it's true that, as I said, I think at least 2 or 3 cars that we have at the exhibition are from private owners that very graciously, some of them lend them. Some of them ask for a little fee, but it's all good.
Yeah, I can lend you my Land Rover.
Well, I would love that, because it's one of my favorite cars.
That's
what I have as well.
Yeah. By the way, you can win a Triumph motorcycle on this expo.
So you can win many things. And one of the things you can win is a Triumph Tiger 900 Special Bond Edition. Cool. So, if I'm not mistaken, that motorbike was in No Time to Die, the last James Bond. It's a very, very rare motorbike. Believe it or not, we had a lot of trouble finding a new one, and we eventually did. And it's a super collector.
What do you have to do to win it?
Buy a ticket.
Buy a ticket.
Buy a ticket to come.
And then there's going to be some kind of a
There's going to be, on the last day of the exhibition, there's going to be a televised draw of all the prizes, and you're going to be able to win this.
Wow. So this is the main prize. What are the other ones? Do you know?
This is one of, it's actually, it depends if you consider the prices money-wise or exciting-wise. I don't know.
Exciting-wise, yeah.
Exciting-wise, Aston Martin, which is our main sponsor, is also offering 2 times 2 weekend tickets for the paddock of the Formula 1 Grand Prix in Austria next year, which costs a lot of money. So this is a huge prize. Yeah. So basically, each winner will get a ticket for 2 people for the whole weekend at the Austrian Grand Prix, Formula 1 Grand Prix next year.
That's awesome.
I think it's worth around 20,000 euros per ticket.
So when you were talking about exciting things about all the prices, actually I have a story for you, because back in like 10 years ago, I was really into flying airplanes, you know, the small sports aircraft. And I had a friend, he now flies a helicopter. He's a rich guy, you know, young rich guy. And he had and I think he still has, an Aston Martin. And he told me, back in the days, he told me, so you're gonna give me a ride in the plane, but on the way to the airport, you can drive my Aston Martin. We're gonna do like a switch. And to be honest, you know, for me, the riding in the car was basically more interesting than flying the airplane.
Flying the plane, I can understand.
You know, because
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, because I've never sat in Aston Martin before. So basically, you know, when I lent him the joystick, you know, just for little movements and stuff, he was like a little baby. Yeah. But I was like the little baby in his Aston Martin.
I can believe you. It's a very. I've had the chance of driving a few now when we were preparing the exhibit. Of course, not the ones that we show because we're not allowed to drive them. But since Aston Martin is our sponsor, we have a few cars that they lent us. It's very impressive. It's a legendary brand. You feel different when you are in there. Yeah. And to go back very quickly to the prizes that you can win, we intentionally didn't announce all the prizes. Okay. There is actually going to be a very amazing prize that, if I would tell you about it, you would fall out of your chair, that we will announce later. But it's the same thing. Anyone who buys a ticket to go will be able to win that surprise prize, but it's something unbelievable.
Great.
But we intentionally do not announce it now. We want the exhibition to get going already, and in a few weeks' time, we will go to the press and announce that
that's fine.
That mystery prize, which will be completely insane.
Talking about the prices, how much actually is the ticket? And when does the exhibition start?
So, the exhibition will start officially on the 9th of December. There is a pre-opening party, a very VIP pre-opening party on the 8th of December. You are actually gladly invited.
Thank you.
People can buy tickets for this pre-opening party for 1,850 crowns. It's free champagne all night and free food.
Free champagne all night.
And free food.
Wow.
Very good food from one of the best caterers in Prague. These tickets, we put 400 tickets for sale. They are almost all sold out. So if you want to attend the pre-opening VIP party on the 8th, you have to quickly go to goout.cz and buy a ticket. And when it comes to the prices of the tickets, it ranges from 95 crowns for like children in classes to the most expensive. I think it's an adult weekend ticket at 495 crowns or something like that.
But still on the 95 crowns ticket, you can win the Triumph Tiger or anything.
You cannot, because you have to be 18.
Ah, I see.
So in this case, actually, I guess your mommy and your daddy would get it, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. How long the expo is gonna be there on the spot?
We are staying 4 months.
4 months.
Yeah, until April and
until the spring.
Until the spring. Yeah. We wish that we will have the possibility to extend if we can. We are in negotiations now. That's what they did in Brussels. They initially were supposed to stay 4 months, and it was such a huge success that they stayed 7 months.
Yes.
And I hope we can do that here too. We will see.
Okay. Well, Nick, thank you for the interview.
Thank you for having me. It was great.
And the pre-party is going to be definitely in James Bond style, I guess, right?
Well,
the suit and everything.
It would be better.
Should the guys who will just go on the expo have this outfit?
Well, if you want to. I mean, I've been visiting the one in Brussels quite many times after my initial visit there.
A lot of James Bonds.
It's true that I was seeing a lot of James Bonds. You know, people were really, I want to say, enjoying themselves, playing into the whole James Bond mood. And I've seen during weekdays at 10 in the morning, guys in tuxedos, and why not?
It's like the Comic-Cons, you know?
Exactly.
You go to the James Bond Expo, you gotta be...
Instead of going as Chewbacca to the Comic-Con, you go as James Bond to James Bond.
Exactly. So Bond in motion in Prague, yeah, you gotta look forward to what's there. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.